Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be crocheting this cute covered scrunchie. I personally call it a covered scrunchie, alright? So this is a step-by-step tutorial which makes it perfect for beginners. And by the end of this video, if you have any questions regarding this project or any other project I've made so far, feel free to leave it down in the comment section and I'll look into it, okay? So without further ado, let's go straight into today's video. So for this project, you'll need your yarn. As you can see, I'm using two different color of yarns, but you can use one color if you want, or you can use two different colors. So next thing you need is your scissors, and you need your crochet hook. I'm using the 4.5 mm because I'm going to be doubling the strands, okay? Now you're going to need your elastic tie, as you can see, but if you have this normal scrunchy elastic band, feel free to use it, but this is the one I have with me, okay? Now the next thing you need by your side is your measuring tape to measure the elastic, and next you're going to need your darning needle to weave in all the ends of your project, okay? Now the last thing you need is your needle and your thread, okay? So you're just going to take your elastic band and you measure with your measuring tape and you cut out 6 inches, alright? Now after cutting out 6 inches, you're going to sew those two ends together. So just thread your needle and you're going to sew those two ends of elastic together. So after sewing the elastic together, we're going to take our yarn and make a slip knot just like you're seeing on the screen. Then you attach your hook and make 71 chains. I personally did 71 chains, alright? But you can make an even number of chains plus 1. That's, you can make 61 chains or 81 chains, okay? But I personally did 71 chains. And 71 chains is around 14 inches. Don't worry, you're going to see the measurements later in the video. So you just go ahead and make your chains, okay? So once you're done making your chains, you're going to take your measuring tape, and mine is about 14 inches, okay? But it stretches to roughly 18 or 19 inches, alright? So just go ahead and measure out your chains. So now we're going to attach the both ends together, and to do that, you're just going to look for the part that looks like braiding, and you're just going to follow it straight down as you can see in the video. Then once you get to the first stitch for the first chain we made, you're just going to insert your hook into that first chain just like you're seeing on the screen. Then you make a slip stitch. So ensure to watch this video properly, so if I'm not explaining it well, at least you can see what I'm doing, alright? Now after making your slip stitch, you are going to make a chain of 2, okay? So for this project, we are working with a double crochet. We're working with only double crochets, no other stitch, so you need to be familiar with your double crochet stitch. So after making your chain 2, we are going to make our first double crochet into the first chain. Then you go ahead into the next chains and keep working double crochets into each chain. So no increases, just go around with regular double crochets, okay? So if you're working with a bigger size of hook or a smaller size of hook, don't forget to always take measurements of your project as you go along the way, alright? For me, I made 71 chains for 14 inches, but if you're working with a larger size of hook, you might make less chains, maybe 51 or even 41. But if you're working with a smaller size of hook, you need more chains for that same amount, okay? So you might end up making 81 chains or even 91 chains. So feel free to always take the measurements of your project and make sure it follows accordingly to the video, okay? So once you've gotten to your last double crochet, we're just going to make a slip stitch. For me, I'm working with 2 different color of yarn, so before I make my slip stitch, I'll just take my other color of yarn and pull it through, then tighten it, alright? So if you're working with one color of yarn, just go ahead and continue making double crochets, but for me I'm going to add a second color. So once you've added your second color, you're going to chain 2 and just continue the pattern. So on top that first double crochet we made, you make another double crochet, and on top the other double crochet you make another double crochet. So you might have understood the pattern already, which is just normal double crochets round in a circular form, and when you get to the end you're going to slip stitch. Okay, so you just go ahead and continue making double crochets. For me, I made 9 rows, and 9 rows is about 5 inches. Yes, 9 rows is about 5 inches, but like I said before, if you're working with a thicker yarn, you might only need 7 rows for 5 inches, but if you're working with a thinner yarn or a lower size of hook, you might need more rows for 5 inches. But just go ahead and continue making your double crochets, and make sure your measurements follow according to the video. All right, so as you can see, this is how my 9 rows is looking. All right, so like I said, if you're using a bigger size of hook, you may need less rows, and if you're using a smaller size of hook, you may need more rows. So once you're done with your rows, you're just going to chain 1 and cut off your yarn, and after cutting off your yarn, you're just going to pull that yarn through, as you can see in the video. Then you take out your measuring tape. Like I said before, 9 rows is about 5 inches, so you take out your measuring tape and measure it, and as you can see, it is actually 5 inches. All right, so if you're working with a smaller size of hook, you may need more rows, but if you're working with a bigger size, you may need less rows. So after that, we're just going to weave in the both ends of our yarn, which is the first end we got from when we made our slip stitch in the beginning, and the last end is from when we chained 1 and cut off our yarn. So just weaving those ends. So after weaving in the ends, you're going to take your project and turn it inwards, which is the inside will now be outside and the outside is going to be inside. Then you are going to fold it just like you're seeing on the screen. That's why I said you should watch this video very well, so if I'm not explaining it well, at least you can see what I'm doing. So once you fold it like this, you're going to take your elastic tie, which is the one we made at the beginning of the video. Like I said before, if you have those normal elastic, you can use that one, but this is the one we have. So you just wrap it around your work like this, and we're going to open it up. As you can see, you just open it up and you connect those both ends together, as you can see in the video. So you just line those both ends together very well. Make sure they are aligned very well. So after that, you are going to make a slip knot with your yarn that you want to use to connect the both ends together. Then we are going to insert our hook into the first end and the second end. Then you take that yarn that you made a slip knot and you pull it through that space. Okay, so once you pull it through, we are going to chain 1, and for joining the ends, we are going to be using a single crochet stitch. Okay, but you can use a slip stitch, or you can even go ahead and work with your darning needle, but for me, I personally like the look of single crochet. All right, so you're just going to insert your hook into the first and second end, make a single crochet, then you go again and you make your other single crochet. Make sure that the two ends are aligning together, or else your scrunchie is going to come out looking very wobbly and one side is going to be bigger than the other. But just go ahead and align them together. I suggest you use a stitch marker if you're a total beginner, to mark some edges so that you don't forget where the two ends are. All right, so just go ahead and keep working with a single crochet, and go ahead and keep working with a single crochet till we get to the beginning of our work. Okay, so once you're done with your single crochet, you should make a slip stitch and cut off your yarn. Chain 1, then you cut off your yarn. Make sure to leave a generous amount of yarn to weave in. Okay, so after you've pulled your yarn through, you take your darning needle and just going to weave in those ends. All right, so guys, once you're done weaving in the ends, this is how your project should be looking. As you can see, it's looking very cutesy and very demure. So we've come to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any uploads. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.